Hey everybody, welcome to Wacky Wednesday number 135 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and it's time for another Chaos Draft. The F&M before pre-release at my local store, we always do a Chaos Draft with everything we've got on the shelves, which currently is Return to Ravnica to now to Ixalan. So I open up the pack and there's a Fire Drinker Satyr there in the back. I'm starting with Theros because I figured it was one of the more simpler sets to deal with. We've got a Heliod's Emissary there, which was a huge bomb way back in the day, and it gets pushed to the front. There's a bunch of other stuff in this pack that I'd consider picking in a Chaos Draft. One of my typical strategies for a Chaos Draft is find your lane quick and stick to it, because you're not going to get synergy like a cube. You just need to get enough good playables. So Heliod's Emissary is definitely there on the top. I do think about the Fire Drinker Satyr because there's the possibility of, you know, kind of going just mono red, which can very much work in a Chaos Draft. Sentry of the Underworld is decent, but Heliod's Emissary is just way too good for me. Next pack is coming on over, and it's Shadows over Innistrad. We've got a Pious Evangel as the flip card. Moonlight Hunt, which every time I see it, I say, hey, that was a good card, and then remember, not in Chaos Draft. It's not. There's a Skeleton Key. There's a Byway Courier, a foil True Faith Sensor. Byway Courier gets another glance there for a second, but the only real thing sticking out here for me is Pious Evangel, which is a decent card, plays well with creatures, and you want to play creatures in a Chaos Draft, and I already first picked a white card, so Pious Evangel is definitely going to get the pick here. In the pile it goes. Next pack is here. It's Oath of the Gatewatch, I believe. We've got an Immolating Glare, which is on color and removal. You know, it's conditional to attacking creatures, but creatures are going to attack me, so it will kill something. Essence Depleter, I think about the likelihood of getting colorless mana, it's pretty low. There is a Crumbling Vestige there, which is decent. Baloth Pup, Azada's Commando, which was really good in block, but Cohort is a really bad mechanic for Chaos Draft. But Immolating Glare keeps me on color. It's removal that I'll certainly play, so in the pile. While we're waiting for the next pack, I should mention this is the last time you'll see this view for a paper draft recap. I'm actually going to switch to my cell phone camera, which will be higher quality, and it'll sit in front of me, so you'll get to see the cards much, much, much closer, as I will be moving to the vlog style of paper draft recaps from now on out. Next up, we've got ourselves some Gatecrash. There's an Experiment 1, which I thoroughly enjoy. There's an Urbis Protector as well, which is okay, but not the best. But Experiment 1 is just kind of... it's a 1-drop. It can very quickly become a 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5. Experiment 1's going to be pretty hard to pass up here, and I do not pass it up. Going on with the vlog thing, if you're one of the people who really dislike me talking about the food, etc., or little personal things, don't worry, that's not going to be super common. That's going to be for big weekend-long events, stuff like that, just to give it a more personal touch. A paper draft recap of an F&M will be very magic-focused. Up next, we've got Dragons of Tarkir, and yet again, just like last Chaos Draft, I noticed that this box of Dragons of Tarkir feels really weird. It does not feel like the rest of the Magic cards. Anyways, this pack, I take another look through it. There's a Spider Silk Net. I feel the card there again, talking to everybody at the table about the weirdness of it. There's a Hardened Berserker. There's an Anok Aerialists. The only real white card for me here is the Aven... whatchamacallit, I'll see it again here when I push it to the front. The Aven Tactician, because it's a creature. It's a 5-drop. It's overcosted, but it will bolster up my my weaker creatures, and it's really the only thing here. I don't want the Lightbringer or Light Walker or whatever it's called. There's just not much in this pack for me, so it is going to be that Aven Tactician, or at least it should have been a lot faster than I'm deciding here. In fact, the other pack just got past there, so come on, let's just take that Aven Tactician and pass this pack along. I really expected me to do it faster than I did, but old me was apparently very slow and very distracted by the weird feeling cards. So let's skip forward to me passing or picking the Aven Tactician. There we go, finally. All right, we're going to pick up that next pack, and it's a pack of good old RTR block. Good old RTR. We got Cellarous Songbirds on the top, which isn't very good. I push a Void Wielder up to the top because Void Wielder's really, really good. There's a Phantom General, but I'm not currently on tokens. And hey, there's a Centaur Healer. Centaur Healer is great. 3/3 for 3, gains me 3 life. I've already pushed towards green with that Experiment 1. Totally fine with that. Next pack comes around, and we are back to Theros. This was a 6-person pod, so that's why this pack came back so quickly. We've got a Last Breath still in this pack, along with a God's Willing. Last Breath is okay. It is removal. People do have to play creatures that are a little bit worse at times in this sort of format, but God's Willing just... Oh, it's my favorite combat trick in the past many years. It's super powerful. You get the Scry 1. There's no way I'm not picking that, God's willing. Next up is the Shadows over Innistrad pack, and that foil True Faith sensor is still there, and that's a decent enough pickup. If I'm going kind of green-white dudes usually like to pick up things like a sensor to beat people over the head with. I'm not going to be getting enough wolves for the Moonlight Hunt. I don't want another boring combat trick, so I'm just going to take that True Faith sensor and pop it in the pile. Next pack is here. We're picking it up. This has got to be the Gate Crash pack. No, the Oath of the Gatewatch pack. We've got an Expedition Raptor, which is fine in my deck. We've got a Baloth Pup, but I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get counters onto it. There's a Crumbling Vestige in here. Splashing sometimes is a decent strategy in Chaos drafts because you can just open some stuff that nobody can really play, and if you've got fixing, you can go for it. I'm really kind of deciding between the Pup and the Expedition Raptor. I take another look at the sideboard card there, Crumbling Vestige, etc. I at this point start to kind of debate, can I pass Crumbling Vestige? Will I get it back around one more time? I decide no, and I do take that Crumbling Vestige. All right, this should be the Gate Crash pack. Yes, it is. We've got an Orzhov Guildgate. We've got a Adaptive Snapjaw. I'm going green-white. I've already got one Evolved Creature. Adaptive Snapjaw goes in. It's not the best Evolved Creature in any way, shape, or form, but I'll play it if I can't get anything better. The Dragons pack is back now, and what's left in here for us? Nothing. We've got a Revealing Wind, but I've got no Morph cards, and who knows if I ever will. Anok Aerialist isn't really something I want to play, but I take it because it's the only green card in the pack. Next up, we're back to Return to Ravnica, and there's not much in here. There's a Golgari Guildgate. I could take it to splash black. There's a Rakdos Key Rune that I could hate out, I guess. But I just take the Golgari Guildgate. Who knows? Maybe some black cards will come to me in Pack 2 or Pack 3, and it's a decent enough way to splash. That's one of the nice things about our Chaos drafts is they always have Guildgates. Last 3 picks here, we've got 3 cards I'm not going to play. A basic land, a Coastline Chimera, or a Boon of Erebos. I took a black splash land, but I'm not going to splash for Boon of Erebos, but may as well take it, I guess. Second last pick, actually, there was a mistake here, I believe. Somebody accidentally took out their basic land, because in this draft, it's a little bit weird. You can't take a basic land out of your pack at the start like we normally do, because not all the packs have basic lands. Some have cards that stay in. So there was a mistake here, so I didn't get my second last pick here. I got a last pick checklist card, which counts as a basic land. And I believe I actually get an additional last card here due to the mix-up, and it was just a full art land. So that's the end of pack 1. I'm decidedly green-white. Got to get some power going, but I've got my lane, so time to stick to it. Pack 2 time, I decide for some reason not quite open it on camera, but it was the Born of the Gods pack. In the back there, we've got a guild, which is just fantastic, unconditional removal, and I did just take a land to splash for black. We've got an Elite Skirmisher, which I always remember being good, and then always forget that there's far less ways to target your own creatures in Chaos Draft. We've got a Culling Mark, we've got a Servant of Timurid, a Mortar's Ardor. Not much in this pack for me anyways, other than that guild, so I may as well take it and start the black splash going. We've got Lightning Volley, just nothing there. So guild for me, unconditional removal. We'll splash for it easily. Back to pick 1, we're back to some cards that I know very well. Ixalan, we've got a Pious Interdiction, that's perfect for my deck. We've got, what else in here? We've got a Steadfast Armasaur, perfect for my deck. Engrass Marauder is not quite where I am at. So really we're kind of deciding between the Armasaur or the Pious Interdiction. I take the Armasaur, I think it's a little bit more powerful than the Interdiction, and yeah, hope that I can get some more removal elsewhere. Or perhaps that Interdiction will come back around. You never know. Next pack is here, and we've got ourselves some Battle for Zendikar. And what do we got in here? We got a Flare Drone, a Mauve Kozilek, an Oblivion Strike. Well, we're already splashing for black removal. Why not splash twice? Plus, there's not really anything else here. There's Adrana's Chosen, which I briefly in my head go, that's a really good card in Limited. But no, it's a cohort card, and there's just not enough allies in a Chaos Draft, so it's actually garbage, and we just take the Oblivion Strike. Next pack, we're back to Shadows over Innistrad again, and we've got a Lambhold Pacifist, which seems great for my deck. Really love Lambhold Pacifist, just in general. She's a great card. Quilled Wolf is fine, not as good as the Pacifist. Thornhide Wolves, no. Obsessive Skinner, I think about, but I don't quite think I can just reliably enable Delirium enough. Lambhold Pacifist is just always going to be a 3/3 for 2, and I take the Pacifist. Maybe Skinner will come back around. Who knows? Next pack, we've got Dragon's Maze, my favorite pack in a Chaos Draft. It's not really. Steeple Rock is about the best card in this pack for me. There's a Maze Sentinel, but I don't really have that many multicolored cards. There's a Boros Battle Shaper, which is decent, but this pack, as expected with Dragon's Maze, is utter garbage, so I take the Steeple Rock and don't really plan on playing it. Pick 5, our final pack for this round, is Return to Ravnica, another pack of Return to Ravnica. We've got an Archon of the Triumvirate as the rare, but I don't quite want to splash blue. I don't quite have a way yet. There's a green-white Guildgate. Snatch it up. So back around to my Born of the Gods pack, and what's left in here, the Skirmisher's still there, so I guess it gets pushed to the front. But I don't know that I'm going to be able to trigger it, really. Otherwise, it's a 3-1 for 3, which is not what I enjoy. You guys know what I enjoy. I take it, but I don't super plan on playing it. Back to Ixalan. Is that interdiction still there? It is not. We've got a Skyblade of the Legion. We've got a Commune with Dinosaurs, which is unplayable. Sideboard Crushing Canopy is an option. Odds are someone's going to have flyers, and I'm going to need to kill them. As well as enchantments, just because we do have Theros block in here, so there are a large number of enchantments that would be nice to kill. It's really between the Skyblade or the Crushing Canopy, a card that I'd probably main deck just because it's a creature, or a sideboard card that's going to be great. I take the sideboard card that's sometimes going to be great. Up next, we are back on over to... Is that Battle for Zendikar or is that Oath of the Gatewatch? That might be Oath of the Gatewatch. Yes, of course, it's Oath of the Gatewatch. It has Waste. There's a Spawn Binder Mage, which is awful for us because of Cohort. There's a Malakir Soothsayer, which is awful for us because of Cohort. There's an Unnatural Endurance that we're just not going to splash for. There's really just nothing in this pack. I briefly think about just taking the Wastes because it's kind of pretty, and it's the Bismuth one, and I really like the Bismuth aesthetic from Oath of the Gatewatch. But yeah, there's ultimately nothing here. The pick that I make doesn't super matter. Arguably, just a hate pick is going to be the correct pick here. I take the signaling pick instead. I probably should have hate picked something. Not that anything was there was worth hate picking. Back on over to Shadows over Innistrad. Our Quilled Wolf Buddy is still here. I will take a 2/2 for 2 any day that someday will be a 6/6. Back to Dragon's Maze, totally my best favorite set ever. Boy, this is great. Boros Battle Shaper is still there. I'm not really going to splash for it, though. There's a Maze Sentinel. I think the correct hit pick here would be to hate out the Boros Battle Shaper, because whoever's Boros, if they are going a little bit later game, this will be an amazing card for them. The only quote-unquote pick for me is the Maze Sentinel. That's the correct signaling pick. I do take it. I think hating the Battle Shaper is actually the proper pick there in pod. Off to Return to Ravnica, we've got a Rootborn Defenses. The only thing for me really, I guess technically I could play all 3 of these. I could splash for Treasured Find. I could play Urban Burgeoning, but Urban Burgeoning is not the best card. So Rootborn Defense is kind of the best here. If I get a token, it's good, but otherwise it's just pretty mediocre. Third last pick here, rather. Necrobite's the only thing in black for me. Culling Mark is the green card, so I take it just to continue signaling. But these last few picks have all been extremely meaningless. Second last pick, obviously with only one Ixalan pack at the table, Commune with Dinosaurs, is the last pick, and I'll take it, but I'm certainly not going to play it, and I pass that basic on over. Missed the last pick, but it was another basic land, of course. Finally, we're going to open up my Battle for Zendikar pack, and there's a Mist Intruder right on top. Mist Intruder is decent. We've got a Smoldering Marsh, which I think about taking for the value, but the value is not really that much anymore because it is out of standard. For me, there's not much in here. There's a Blister Pod. There's a Smite the Monstrous. There's a Grove Tender Druids I don't really want. There's a Rolling Thunder that I really wish I could play. But there's really just not much in here. I briefly asked the shop owner to confirm that yes, these Tango lands just aren't really valuable anymore now that they've rotated out of standard. So looking through this pack, I'm just not quite sure where to go. Rolling Thunder is like, it would be a good hate pick. Whoever's red certainly is going to pick that up, but it's just not me. There is a Kozilek's Channeler here, which I guess is probably the only real pick for me. It's a 5-drop, but it'll let me ramp into my non-existent top end that I have right now, but it'll let me double spell, and double spelling on a turn is always decent. So Kozilek's Channeler's probably just going to end up being the pick here. This was a really bad pack for us, unfortunately. You can see me there expressing a bit of frustration, but we are just going to take that Kozilek's Channeler and pass this pile. Next pick, let's hope it's a little bit better. We've got Kaladesh. We've got good old Kaladesh. There's a Gear Per Osprey, there's a Prey Upon, there's a Scrounging Bunder. Scrounging Bunder is really decent here. Alley Evasion, Metallic Mimic is quite nice as well. We could actually maybe go like green-white humans. We do have a number of humans. There's a Harpooner, which isn't very good. It's really between the Mimic or the Cat Monkey, I think. Mimic just has a bunch of uses. I do quickly look through my deck and I go, okay, human, human. Not a human, 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 human. No, that wasn't human. There's a human. So yeah, at this point I realized, okay, you know what? I've got a bunch of humans. We can name human and probably get a decent number of counters off this. So I do take the Mimic. Journey into Nyx is up next, and we've got a Ravenous Loop Crocata, I guess. We've got an Eagle of the Watch. What else? Is there anything else? Is there anything at all? There's an Armory of Iris. This is a card that I never played, and I always thought was pretty mediocre, and frankly was pretty mediocre. But I'm getting counters in various ways, and creatures with equipment is kind of an okay thing in a Chaos draft just because there is less synergy. I decided, you know what? We're going to be a bit wacky, and we're going to try out this card that I totally ignored the first time around in that format. Next pack, we've got ourselves a Whisper of the Wilds right on top, which is a human, by the way, and taps for mana, just a great card all around. Rest of the pack's pretty bad anyways, so in goes the Whisper of the Wilds. Up next, we've got ourselves some good old Amonkhet. Well, I wouldn't say good. That's not a word I like to describe that set with. In this pack, we've got a Scaled Behemoth. That's about all I need to tell you. We've got equipment. We've got a Heliod's Emissary. We've got stuff that we can throw on it. We can further prove that Hexproof is a mechanic that needs to go away. So in the deck it goes. Up next, we've got Eldritch Moon, not Shadows. We've got a Guardian of the Pilgrims, which is not a human. It's a ghost. It's obviously a ghost. We've got an Extricator of Sins. And hey, there's a Hamlet Captain. That is totally on brand. If we keep pushing green-white humans, Hamlet Captain is going to be very, very good. But I do have to think about this Extricator of Sin. It's also a human, and I can start making 3/2 Vigilant Eldrazi's. So Extricator seems really good, but I really want to go this human route. So I do take the one that stays a human, as opposed to the one that's only sometimes a human. Back to this Oath of the Gate, Battle for Zendikar pack that was really mediocre. We've got Grove Tender Druids, which are elves, not humans, unfortunately. They're also just kind of garbage. They don't do anything. We've got a Blister Pod. We've got an Inspiring Charge. There's nothing in this pack that I want. It's just as bad as it was the first time around. We take the Blister Pod, but probably not going to play it. Heading back to Aether Revolt, I think I said it was Kaladesh the first time around. We've got, hey, Cat Monkey. Cat Monkey's still there. That's great. That's fine by me. Cat Monkey. Back on over to Journey into Nyx. All that's left here is the Ravenous Loop Crocata, as well as the Strength from the Fallen, which I read briefly, but it is still as bad as it always was. So we take the Ravenous Loop Crocata. Sometimes you played that card. I don't know if I will or not, but in the pile. Back to Fate Reforged. Fate Reforged has a Cash Defenses as well as an Abzan advantage. And that's about it. I don't super want either of these cards. I take the Abzan advantage, but it's not really a card I plan on playing. Back to Amonkhet, we've got a Quarry Caller still on top, and we are planning to have some counters. We're planning to evolve a little bit. We're planning to try to use that Armory of Iris, so we go ahead and grab the Quarry Caller. It also was really the only pick for us, unless we wanted a 2/4. Last 3 picks now. 3 picks? 4 picks? Let me see. It was the last 3 picks. We've got a Convolute, a Stensia Banquet, as well as a Make Mischief. All cards we're not going to play. Let's take a Stensia Banquet. Why not? Doesn't matter the slightest. Once again, there was a mix-up, and I again get a third last pick. I'm guessing somebody didn't leave in their checklist card like they should have. We take the Mist Intruder. There's nothing else there that I really wanted. I guess I could have taken a Full Art Land, but I've got just dozens of those things kicking around. Alley Evasion is in color. It's a combat trick. I might play it. I probably won't, but we can take it. And then our final card is just a basic land. So this is how the deck ended up looking, and I know this is a part that people missed in the pre-release recap, and it's something that I will be working into the future vlog-style recaps. I do want to make sure that I do show off my deck and etc. The trick, of course, is finding the time to do it in the workflow of the vlog. I can't really do it in the store. As you saw, the store is a little bit tiny. As well, taking video of matches during vlogs is going to be really difficult because I'm actively playing a match. I would have to hire a cameraman to be behind me, and this channel does not make that kind of money. But this is what the deck looks like, and yeah, we're going to take a look at each of the individual drop slots. In the 1-drop slot, we've got ourselves the Experiment 1 and the God's Willing. Experiment 1, of course, was fantastic when it came down on turn 1, much less good when it came down later. The same way Experiment 1 has always been. God's Willing as well, just gets people. It's a combat trick. It's a way to push through damage. It's a way to counter removal. God's Willing is incredible. I wish they had reprint this card a ton. 2-drop slot is where the meat of the deck really was. We had the Quilled Wolf, we had the Hamlet Captain, the Lambholt Pacifist, a couple of other humans there that really did good work with that Metallic Mimic. The Mimic often named human. I do believe it once named cat, just because I knew Scrounging Bunder was going to come down next turn. Counters were really flying, especially with Armory of Iris. I did equip that to a bunch of things. I equipped it to the Bunder, which meant that I actually got to get extra counters to throw around on the next turn. And yes, at one point, the Scaled Behemoth did pick up the Armory of Iris, and it was dumb. The 3-drop slot was a little bit lacking. I probably could have had a bit more here. We had the Centaur Healer and the Pious Evangel, and that was it. Centaur Healer's all around good. Pious Evangel, I never, ever flipped it because I wasn't really killing too many things on my opponent's board unless it was in combat, but playing creatures I was doing, so gaining life was definitely nice. The 4-drop slot housed our removal, the Splashed Guild and Oblivion Strike. I played both of the Guild Gates that I pulled, as well as the Crumbling Vestige to help splash for that black. In the creature area, we had Quarry Hauler, which there were more than enough +1/+1 counters to bump one up off of that, and Steadfast Armasaur, which was just solid, especially when it was holding an Armory of Iris. The 5-drop slot, a bunch of just big things here. The Kozilek's Channeler, which helped me ramp a little bit into things like the Scaled Behemoth or casting the Heliod's Emissary, although ramp's a strong word there. Adaptive Snapjaw was great. I managed to get a few counters off that because of that 2 toughness and the Evolve, and Aven Tactician bolstered a few things. Nothing great here, but it all worked. The 6-drop slot was just the Scaled Behemoth, which of course was great because Hexproof is dumb and a mechanic that needs to go away. And the 7-drop slot was Heliod's Emissary. Yes, it has a casting cost of 4, but you feel horrible if you ever play this for 4. You want to bestow something up, especially a Scaled Behemoth. But that's how the deck and the draft ended up, and now to highlight a real problem with this old style of recap and why I'm especially happy to move into the vlogs, the match recaps. I don't super remember them that well because this was like 5 or 6 days ago. I do remember I played Garrett round 1. I don't remember what he played. I think he played blue something. I do remember that I won relatively quickly in 2. My deck just kind of did what it wanted to do. Drop a bunch of 2-drops, evolve some guys up, get the Scaled Behemoth down, and just slam in. So I won round 1 in 2 games. Round 2, I was up against Connor, and he was playing red-white as he had opened a Nahiri. Had a bit of trouble. He was the one who took the Boros Battle Shaper, the card that I maybe should have hated. I actually passed it to him. But yeah, it was a bit of a struggle getting into the, I believe, 3rd game. I think I won in 3, as he did drop Nahiri in that game. And I beat her by allowing her to ultimate. I had no way of getting through the damage. He ulted her at 8, killing her to go and get the Boros Battle Shaper, completely unaware that I had 3 pieces of removal in my hand. And so I was able to kill that, kill an angel that was being a problem, kill the other thing, and then no longer have to deal with Nahiri and get through for a whole bunch of damage. So I managed to get to the finals undefeated, 2-0. Up against Sean, the store owner, who was playing mono black. The reason I got an Oblivion Strike, actually I guess I opened the guild, but the reason a lot of those black cards were going around is because nobody at the table was taking black except for Sean, who was taking nothing but black. He had opened a Lord of the Abyss? Lord of the Void? Yeah, Lord of the Void, Lord of the Void. He opened a Lord of the Void in Gate Crash as his first pick, and he said, well, I'm black. I'm going mono black. And he lucked out and in pack 2 in Fate Reforged opened a Palace Siege and had just a really dumb black deck. It was a lot of trouble. It was a lot of trouble going into this matchup. Game 1, I actually did manage to just kind of steamroll him. Just got everything down. He didn't quite get established and just ran him down. Game 2, Palace Siege came in and that was horrible. He didn't win off Palace Siege though. He won off of also playing the Lord of the Void and killing me with that. So in came my destroy target creature with flying or destroy target enchantment card, which did kill the Lord of the Void in the third game, but I stumbled a lot in the third game on mana, and it just didn't go too well, so I lost in 3 to Sean, taking second place, and yeah, doing pretty well in a Chaos Draft. I love this format. If you've never Chaos Draft, you should definitely give it a try. Just get a whole bunch of different packs, get some friends together, and draft them. It's super, super fun. You find synergies that never really existed. You find mechanics that are really, really bad outside of their block, etc. It's super fun. Give it a try. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeek, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeek, and Patreon.com/TheManaLeek. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.